which we hope to break ground in the next month or two. And as we just expand globally, a lot of that comes the big expansion in Lowell.
Thank you. And next we have Joe Jolly, who's the CEO for the Plenus Group, which is AKA Boston Chowder.
Hi, Joe Jolly, Boston Chowder, the food guy. Having a good time, getting ready to expand in the next 18 to 24 months, and our business is doing very nicely, and Lowell's a great place. Thank you.
Thank you. And Stephen Katz, from the president of Unwrapped.
Thank you. Stephen Katz, Unwrapped Incorporated, sewing factory on Rock Street. Started home sewing in Lowell in 1994, and we've grown to, on a good day, the best sewing factory in America, and it could only happen in Lowell. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the Economic Development Subcommittee of the City Council. This subcommittee is televised, so we thought this would be a good forum in which to read the proclamation, which I'll read right now. The City of Lowell, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, by his honor, Edward J. Kennedy Mayor proclamation, whereas October 7, 2016 is National Manufacturing Day, and National Manufacturing Day was established nationally to promote manufacturing as a career pathway and educate the public about advanced manufacturing. The manufacturing sector has a powerful impact on Massachusetts and Lowell's economy by providing high-skilled jobs with good wage. Sales of manufacturing products support billions of dollars in output from other sectors of our economy. And whereas Lowell manufacturers employ hundreds in the city, accounting for over 24% of our city's top employers, Lowell manufacturers are on the cutting edge of innovation, from semiconductor technology, robotics, medical services, to nanotechnology. Lowell has the infrastructure and labor pool needed to attract advanced manufacturing into the city, from top-notch research facilities at UMass Lowell to prime industrial and research and development space throughout the city. And whereas during the month of October, the city encourages local manufacturers to celebrate their successes and engage with our community, in particular to show our young generation the career potential in manufacturing jobs. Now, therefore, I, Edward J. Kennedy, Mayor of the City of Lowell, Massachusetts, do hereby recognize October as National Manufacturing Month and support National Manufacturing Day on October 7, 2016, and urge all citizens to take part in the celebration. And if I could ask all the manufacturers to come forward, we'll just take a picture. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank the mayor for the proclamation. I want to thank the manufacturers for being here and for what they do for the city of Lowell. Now, the next on our agenda is the Lowell Waterways Vitality Initiative Plan. And could I have everyone come forward? Please use the seats that we have. Yes, sit inside, please. Before we begin, Mr. Faust, could you introduce the speakers tonight and perhaps some of the people that have been part of the process? Okay, thank you. Welcome, James.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee and counselors and distinguished guests. My name is James Ostis. I am the vice president of the Lowell Heritage Partnership, and I live in Lowell. I'd just like to introduce our other board members here, Toby Marks, Peter Osella, Celeste Bernardo, Richard Lockhart, Steve Stoll, Barbara Gilbert, and and Nancy Pitkin. and and I have all the names written down. But, and you will hear from our president, Paul Marion, and from Fred Faust in a minute. So Fred Faust actually and I went to Water Fire in Providence last Saturday night, and I know a lot of people have often looked at the Water Fire example as something that they would like to see in Lowell, and I tell you, it was very impressive to see the effort put into Water Fire. You can tell they've been at it for a very long time, and they managed to really gather a lot of volunteers and perfect their craft. But I also felt, and I believe Fred would agree, that Lowell, here in Lowell, we can match it and do it in our own unique way. And hopefully with this presentation will help you see the vision of how that could happen. So, so I'd like to now turn it over to Paul Marion, the president of Lowell Heritage Partnership, for the presentation.
Thank you, James, and thank you to Mayor Kennedy and Councilor Samaras and Milanazzo and Bercier, and I saw Danny Rourke was here, Councilor Rourke, for inviting us. It was 9 short months ago that all of us were at the Luna Theater at Mill Number 5 for the exciting launch of an idea, really, and we showed examples from around the country and around the world of, there we are at Luna Theater, of what has happened in other places, and we said, we think Lowell can do this too. And so we've been hard at work. It's been a fabulous collaboration with the city. Maybe next slide. Our process included a lot of public participation, not only the beginning in January at Luna, but then we had working groups that met a couple of times at the Innovation Hub, and then there was this sort of synchronicity with the city where the city manager, Murphy, and the city council, they committed funding to light up the Merrimack Canal at Lucy Larcom Park, and it seemed like overnight the work was done in time for Winterfest. It gave instant credibility to the idea that we can do something more, we can take the waterways to the next level. We continued through the spring and the summer with public participation, and then we had hundreds of people come out for a demonstration project on September 1st at the Hamilton Canal District, the swamp locks. It was tremendous, visually very exciting, and the last slide is from the Quilt Museum, and Fred will talk about this later, but this process sort of grew and developed as it went on, and we now have a growing movement to light up historic structures in this immediate area of the downtown, George Duncan being very pivotal in that effort, and you'll hear more about that later. These are, you have in front of you a packet which is excerpts from this presentation tonight, and one of them is this map which shows the focus areas. One of the things that all the planning yielded was a decision on which areas we could begin with in terms of revitalization of the waterways, and it moved from not only the canals, but because of certain things happening also onto the river and the bridges. So starting from the top, well, I'll go clockwise from the top right, we have the Cox and Willette bridges identified as areas that could be enhanced by illumination, and then down to the lower locks, the wonderful plaza and engineering complex between Middlesex Community College and the UMass Lowell Inn and Conference Center. That's been described as having, maybe the most potential for a public space in the city. Jeff Speck was very high on that. Coming around we have the Hamilton Canal District, which is where we did the demonstration lighting, but obviously everything that's going on there with the city, and it's a junction of 4 waterways, the Pawtucket, Merrimack, Hamilton, and one other canal. It's escaping me at the time. Merrimack Canal, right. And then come up the Western Canal at Ecumenical Plaza. We thought it was very important in this first phase, which we're envisioning as about a 5-year period of work. We thought it was very important to have a neighborhood location as one of the locations that is on the short list, for the first phase of development. And Ecumenical Plaza is an area that goes back to the beginning of the revitalization, the urban revitalization in Lowell with Model Cities program and the Human Services Corporation, the platform that was built over the canal to connect the neighborhood between the 2 historic churches. And we thought that would be a wonderful place, to enhance. And then coming back around to where the city has already done a terrific job with the lighting at the Merrimack Canal at Lucy Larkin Park. These plans you'll see deal not only with the waterways, but the contiguous areas, so the banks and the public spaces associated with the waterways. We're here at the Economic Development Subcommittee because, from the beginning, this has been foremost a economic development initiative. There are cultural and social and even educational benefits that come out of this, but we think this is a project, that could take Lowell to the next level in terms of the region, if not the country, and that the waterways have the potential to be a kind of visual spectacle, that will bring people to the city in vast numbers. So now our consultant, Dan Koff from New Relic Media, is going to walk us through the focus areas. There's a series of before and after images here, and the after images are in your packet. You can see it, a little bit more close up than we have on the screen here. Dan, you got to press the button. Yeah, bring it close to you.
All right.
Pull it close to you.
Great. Can you all hear me? Great. It's wonderful to be here, and I am just thrilled to be involved in this project. I have been working in the Merrimack Valley for close to 10 years. In about a year and a half, I graduated from the Harvard School of Design. And soon after that, Fred and Paul got me on board with this project to help illustrate how this vision could play out on the ground. So here we'll present some of these illustrations, starting with Lucy Larkin Park, which, as we all know, has great potential to form a really dynamic edge to downtown, opening up to the rest of the city. So we have recommendations stemming from placemaking initiatives such as installing tables and chairs with board games to mobile bookshelves, performance stages, essentially to create a lot of the life that we see at events like the Lowell Folk Festival and Winterfest, but on a more regular basis. So here's what that could look like with the trolley active, with the area around cobblestones serving as open-air beer garden, similar to the way it does during some of these special events, and also on the park side, having spaces for vendors and kiosks, and principally using the gatehouse as a potential welcome center for the initiative. In the winter, this gatehouse could serve an additional role of becoming a warming station, as this area gets activated with fire pits and vendors and even ice skating, either on the canal or on the banks adjacent to it. Next, we have the Lower Locks Complex, which, as Jeff Speck noted, could really make Lowell a city of the first rank. The dynamic waterfall, granite wall as tall as the Green Monster, an elegant gatehouse sitting on top. I mean, these are really 3 major pieces of sculpture in the public art collection this could really come to life just with simple lighting and some placemaking initiatives, allowing spaces for vendors, incentivizing especially outdoor dining. There are some places for especially more permanent cafes in the area. And this could become a year-round kind of marketplace and central plaza for downtown. Moving on to Hamilton Canal District and working with the city and project partners as this area gets developed, there are tremendous opportunities to use the retail and commercial spaces, the ground plane to drive people to the water, and to use the waterways as a central promenade to be filled with people. Using this gateway site, this is the first place where people come in off the highway. We could really bring the water up into the air, make it really relevant and prevalent for people to see with water fountains, water taxis, and looking forward to this area really coming to life in future years. Moving to the neighborhood along the Western Canal at Academical Plaza, following up on the Flowering Cities initiatives, there's opportunities for gardens and fruit trees. And in addition, this place could become a really special place for festivals using these very elegant church facades to illuminate on a more permanent basis and also for projections. And then finally, going to the Merrimack River, this area could become a real thoroughfare connecting the city to regional trail networks, thanks to the city's expansion of the Riverwalk. By illuminating the Riverwalk and the bridges, the mile of mills could really stand out. And we're also showing some other activation strategies, such as temporary floating art and a floating movie theater, such as been done in Toronto, which we'll see in previous slides.
Thank you, Dan. It's much too exciting to sit down, so I have to stand up. I think.
But we need you on the microphone.
Here, you can stand up and take
Okay.
mine.
Carry it.
So walk around.
All right.
Crazy, that's.
So, as Paul has described, and I think each of us know, the momentum that's occurred here has just been amazing. The momentum has really been amazing. It really shows what we can do together as partners. A lot of times there's inertia when you start a project and you have to convince people to be involved. That just hasn't been the case. From the first meeting where we had 6 of the 9 counselors come to the Luna Theater and start with that level of enthusiasm, from the work that was done by the city manager in encouraging the lighting of the canal. And the ironic thing is we were just talking about that and all of a sudden we see people working on the canal to light the canal. So there's really something pretty magic behind all of these ideas. And in a very short period of time, one of the things we wanted to do with the demonstration project on September 1st and what the city did through Winterfest was just to show everyone the potential. So the week of the folk festival, the owners of the old firehouse lit the tower as a demonstration. This will be permanently lit as soon as some of the masonry work is done in the spring. And we have supporters who have really gone out and really gone door to door and advocated for this lighting program. And we now have a sort of mini master plan that's centered around the Merrimack Canal district, and that's what we're calling it. We're focusing architectural lighting in that area. And we have a commitment now from 6 or 7 buildings already through the activities and energies of George Duncan. Again, this is a shot from Winterfest. Barbara Poole's visual effects of hanging the banners in the window. This just shows you what art can do. And within a couple of days of this being up, it was on the front page of the Lowell Sun. I think Councilor Leahy was one of the guys who stood up on the ladder and helped to get the banners up. And I think we made a call because we were concerned about some of the weeds across the way being an impediment to viewing that. And I think 3 different city councilors called the Parks Department, and that afternoon the weeds were down and this was visible. So it's just been, the participation has been phenomenal. And we can see the incubator space for the university here, and the university too, and the chancellor have been terrific. All of our public meetings have been either there or the Luna Theater, and we appreciate their support, and that of Middlesex Community College as well. And this is the lighting event on September 1st. Whoops. So in discussing some of the other initiatives that have taken place with the cooperation of the National Park Service and George Duncan emailed me one day and he said, next to the National Park, this is the most exciting thing I've seen come around, and he's just been very, very enthusiastic. So George has actually been taking it on himself to walk around the downtown and to ask building owners to light their buildings. And right in the Wanalancet Mill, we have a new lighting firm that deals with some of these technologies that has done a little mini master plan. And between owners who can light their buildings and a fund that's going to be started by George Duncan and the owners of the firehouse, we hope that we can help some of the nonprofits do additional lighting. So you can see some of the locations we're working on. And 2 weeks ago, the National Park Service itself, the Lowell National Historical Park, and Celeste Bernardo committed to lighting the Merrimack Street Gatehouse. So we're very excited about that as well. I think all you had to do is stand out there on September 1st or at Winterfest and see what the potential is. As James said, we visited Providence. I think it's exciting what they do there. They have an amazing amount of volunteers, but they have one river that they uncovered. You know, there was asphalt on it. We have 5.6 miles of canals and 2 amazing rivers. So I think the potential really is boundless here. And I think the other thing that's great about this is that this isn't for a select group of people. This really covers young and old. It's a legacy project. It's going to enhance security and activity in the downtown. It's going to enhance economic development. It's going to benefit artists and culture. And it's really, I think, the concept that the Pat Mogans and the Paul Songas and the early human services folks had when they talked about Lowell coming alive as a special city, you know, perhaps the most important and best middle-sized city in America. So we're really very proud to be involved with this. We're so appreciative for the members of the council and the political support. And we really came here to run some ideas by you and to have a dialogue and take questions, but also get some more ideas. So this is a draft plan. On October 27th, we're going to go back to the not the ICC, but to the incubator space at the hub. We're going to get our committees back together, and between now and the 27th, we would really like to get all the ideas. We've met with representatives of DPD. We're sitting back down with the Park Service tomorrow, and you know, we really want to have a dialogue and make this the best plan possible. So these, again, are some of the ideas and views that have inspired us, and we really think that these kind of things can happen in Lowell. Again, this is Waterfire. This is the Lawn on D in South Boston.
Temporary placemaking project.
And you can see they just put benches out there, and all of a sudden it's populated by people. And in the evening, they have those sort of cool lit up swings that the kids swing on and have activities until late in the evening. This is the added sand beach in Vienna off a river there. This is the Moscow River, and these are some of the types of fountains that we could see in the Swamp Blocks area. And Dan mentioned the floating movie screen. So if you think this is just like somebody's fantasy, this is in Toronto, and people gather along the river, they float the movie screen, and on weekends they have showings. And on the other side, it's actually a 2-sided screen. You can pull your boat up, and you can watch from the other side. This is Lyon, France, that attracts hundreds of thousands of people for a week-long festival. And these are some of the projections on the buildings. Actually, you had some of them for Winterfest. And we can envision this lighting up Ecumenical Plaza and the Holy Trinity Church and St. Patrick's. So what's ahead for us? Well, we think this is a 5-year plan, and this could happen quickly or it could take time. We believe this is a $5 to $10 million project. To get the critical mass that's needed for these various sites. Again, part of the process of sitting down with the national park and following back up with the city is you actually have experience doing these projects. We're going to try and put some real numbers to these. And then what we would like to do is to work with the city to form a steering committee. And then in the next year, get that committee together, representative across the board of public and private sectors, and then come up with a harder plan, a fundraising plan, and to really just energize everybody to work towards these goals.
Thank you, Mr. Faust, for this presentation. You know, as long as I can remember, the canals have always been talked about its potential for recreational use. And I think our constituents who are watching this program tonight should know that really this has happened by people like yourself volunteering for this effort. This is not a paid effort, so to speak. This is an effort that's been started by you and Paul Marion, George Duncan, and many others have been part of this process. The National Park with our park superintendent, Celeste Bernardo. There are so many people, the Heritage Partnership. This is wonderful. I mean, I do believe that this is possible. And what you've shown is that it is possible. And our city manager has did make a commitment to the canal by the high school for the Winterfest, and I think a lot of people became believers. But I think with the program on September 1st, that certainly, if anybody had any doubts, they know it can happen. But I'd like to open up. Yes, Councilor Milanazzo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'm thrilled that this is before the Economic Development Subcommittee because, as you mentioned in the beginning, it clearly is, in my opinion, an economic development initiative. So I want to congratulate the group that's been involved. I know the Lowell Sun said something about Fred Faust resurfaced with this project. In my opinion, Fred Faust has never gone away in this community. A lot of what we've seen happen over the last couple of decades, Fred certainly had been involved in, and his fingerprints have been all over the success that we have had, and obviously Paul Marion as well and the National Park Service. But again, it clearly is an economic development initiative. I remember 25 years ago, Peter Russello and a group of us went to San Antonio, Texas to look at the Riverwalk, and I was the business person at the time that got chosen to speak at this event and talking about it being an economic development initiative. And I mistakenly get up and told them how impressed I was with the canal system in San Antonio. And Mayor Henry Cisneros quickly got up and said, Mr. Milanazzo, it might be a small river, but it's a river. But we went on from there, and we really did talk about the economic initiatives, about having restaurants along the canals and lighting the canals, and we learned after that about Providence and so forth. So I think the fact that you have people like you all involved and George Duncan involved, and I think the idea of the dialogue is an important one. I think having a steering committee of city folks is good. I think that from the standpoint of the Economic Development Subcommittee, it's something that we want to support as a subcommittee and bring back to the city manager, saying whatever resources we can bring to the table through either grant writing, working in partnership with the National Park Service and so forth, we should do that. So I'm very excited that this is ongoing. I was thrilled with the turnout at Mill Number 5, especially from the majority of the city councils that were there. And again, getting back on October 27th, I think you mentioned, I think that that's, again, a good stepping up point or off point so that we can continue this very important dialogue. But it clearly, to me, is an economic development initiative that the city is certainly behind. Thank you.
Councilor Mercier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. First, I must put a disclaimer out there. I'm not on the Economic Development Subcommittee, but Chairman Samaras was kind enough to let me sit here. Let me just say, I am so out of my mind with excitement here. To me, this is, it is a dream, because I thought, what is it in the city that we have that other communities don't have, that we could improve and nurture and improvise and, experiment and do things and bring people here? We don't have the luxury of living near an ocean like they do in Newburyport, but we have canals, and that is a jewel. It's a hidden jewel that we could work on, and this is what everybody here is doing. This is the key sentence. This project could take Lowell to the next level, and by gosh, it will. And when many years ago, John Cox, our former city manager, sent people to Las Vegas to the Bellagio, he took a lot of flack from that, but I thought that was a great idea. Go around the communities, go around the different states and bring into the city what good things come out of it. Then I thought, Rhode Island has the water and fire. Well, I don't know if we could do that. And it's kind of difficult because a lot of the canalway is owned by the Enel, so I'm wondering the swamp locks is not owned by Enel? Because you mentioned putting fountains in the water, and boy, that would be just great. So,
There are a lot of legal issues to work through, and
they're
that's
tough to
that's
deal
a key
with.
one, because you're dealing with Enel,
Yeah.
the state, and multiple parties. I think that Peter Rossell and members of the park staff have a better understanding of this, but that is something we have to sort through. One thing that we have noticed, and it hasn't always been the case, is that once Enel got through the process and is able to build their dam, and then the process, again with the bridges, we have had representatives of Enel attend several of our planning meetings and have expressed a desire to help us do some of these things. I don't know if that overcomes lawyers and liability, but I guess we're going to find out. But that's a key thing, and something that really only the city and the capacity of the city with its law department is going to, we need the city to help us sort that out.
yeah, I'll help you all I can because I believe in this project immensely. I was at Luna Theater. I was at the different events in the September 1st. So when I saw that, I took so many pictures and I showed so many people that weren't able to go, and they are excited about it. I just wish we had another plan that could get the different smokestacks to light up, but be that as it may, there's so many possibilities here. And as I will leave you with this, because I have to leave and go see the ambassador, I say, and the Lord said, let there be light, and you are doing it. I can't say anymore, because that's it. I'm so proud of
I would just
everybody
say-
Thank you, Councilor Mercier.
involved in this
Thank you.
project. Thank you.
Smokestacks are part of the plan.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you,
were
Councilor
very
Mercier.
encouraged by Enel having a representative attend the planning sessions and really, saying that they were open, to, a lot of what we were talking about. So, we're hopeful there. I think, Councilor Mercier exactly right in terms of describing the canal system as sort of Lowell's special asset. Some people will remember that the first federal feasibility plan looking at whether Lowell should have a national park was called the Report of the Lowell Historic Canal District Commission. It was the canals that were the competitive advantage, the differentiator for Lowell, back in 1975, 76, 77, that then led to the legislation in 1978. So, in a way, we're sort of going back to where we started. The Park Service has always used the canals, for its interpretive program and for boats, but I think that there's a sense that there's a lot more to be done there, and I think 2016, we're ready.
I just want to add also that I think the mayor really said it well at the Lowell Plan breakfast. He talked not just about the lighting and the physical structures of the canals, but he talked about having events taking place. We know from, witnessing and enjoying the Folk Festival and Winterfest and little things, the programs that the university sponsors that brings people to the city over the weekends and fills up the restaurants, that we're not going to be the next Burlington Mall, but we can be truly a festival city. We can have activities going on all the time that make Lowell a great destination. So there are multiple pieces to this, and some of that is a lot of hard work, as members of the city council know, in terms of, you have to be out there every weekend. When we got September 1 going, we learned from the snowstorm we had in April that you need people who really know what they're doing. So, when we're fortunate to have people like Toby involved, Deb Belanger, and Henry Marchand and so forth. I mean, they're really people who know how to put these things on, and it takes a lot of work. So it's not just lighting a light, but it's getting people to be volunteers, and Lowell Walks is another example of what it takes just to have initiative and to make things happen.
Yeah, the eventual budget will not only be infrastructure, but we will recommend operational or programmatic component to the budget, because you really need that piece to make it all work, and to continually sort of feed the public space that's been enhanced.
No, thank you. I mean, I can recall as a young boy, my father talking about the canals as the Venice, Lowell was the Venice of America. And at that time, I can remember articles in the Lowell Sun talking about the possibility of its use, having gondolas go up and down the canals. Another story in the Lowell Sun was when the canals froze over, much like they did in the Netherlands, but ice skating and Winterfest type of programs. But what you've done here as volunteers, you've actually shown that it's possible. And I think that's very important. I mean, not only is it possible, but it can happen. And there is a willingness on many people to be part of this process. I do know that every city councilor has thrown its support towards this project. In the planning department, Allison, you've attended many meetings. Do you want to say anything at this point? Or, but the Department of Planning, I hate to do that, put somebody on the spot, but you've attended many of the meetings, and you can see the value of this.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, we see this as helping our efforts to bring in more businesses and support the ones we have here. And, we're delighted to be a part of it and to be supporting the initiative.
Thank you.
Can you say something about is it the FLAP grant, the big grant?
Sure. So the City of Lowell received a few grants, actually, through the Federal Lands Access Program, the FLAP program, one of which is we plan to use towards improving wayfinding signage downtown, as well as various crossings at the crosswalks, but particularly with a focus on where the canalways intersect with the streets, to make it a little bit easier for visitors to really get around the city. And we see this as sort of a nice complement to the work that the Vitality Initiative is doing.
Thank you. As Councilor Milanazzo stated very clearly, if we want to see boutiques, shops coming into Lowell, different type of companies coming into Lowell, this is what's going to do it. But we already have by the city the many festivals that are going on, the mini festivals that have been going on. They've all been very successful, partnered with the National Park and the city. And so the thing is, to say we're excited is an understatement. To say we will support this effort, I can speak for every city councilor and the city administration. We're there. Are there any other questions before we close this meeting? Or any other concerns that should be raised? Mr. Cobb?
We just want to mention again that October 27th at the UMass Innovation Hub, 110 Canal Street in the Hamilton Canal District, we'll have a community meeting at which people can respond, to the ideas that were presented here tonight. If not tonight or tomorrow, very soon we'll have this material up on social media. So people will be able to see it. It's been a fantastic tool for us in this process. It's been a way to involve the community and get people's input. And we'll look to having like a published complete plan sometime late November. So we'll have about 4 to 6 weeks of feedback, and then we'll issue the final plan.
Thank you.
I would just finally like to say that the support that's been provided by the City Council, I appreciate the kind words that Councilor Milanazzo uttered earlier, but he's been there the whole time. And so when you have people on the City Council that are supportive and get it, it just makes this much easier, and it gives you enthusiasm and wherewithal to keep volunteering your time. And, ironically, I think Councilor Samaras and I had some harsh words for each other, which really, it's sort of like one of those things that started out, why are you talking about preservation this way? I'm not talking about preservation this way. I'm talking about the downtown. I'm talking about quality of life. Well, that has gone to from couple of hostile words to an extremely close relationship. I cannot tell you how many hours Council Samaras has put into this at Vic's, on the phone, at the Pawtucket Diner, everywhere. We really appreciate your efforts and your ability to communicate with other councilors. This kind of support doesn't happen by mistake, so thank you.
No, thank you for those kind of words. But, you know, they talk about Lowell. Yesterday, we had the Secretary of Transportation, and they talked about a collaborative effort to fix the Yanel bridges. That's what the city's about. We tout it, but it's true. Counselor,
I just want to close by saying that as I look out in the audience, it's just instant credibility.
Yeah.
Because the people that are here supporting this effort have been here for the long haul. And it's just instant credibility. So for the city council to sign on either early or in the continuing the process, being a member of the steering committee, is a no-brainer for me. It really is truly a no-brainer. So I'm thrilled that, again, this is before the Economic Development Subcommittee. I know tonight's report to the full council, the chairman will certainly talk about our enthusiasm, talk about the October 27th initiative, and how we as a council can be helpful going forward.
And many of us here are students of Pat Mogan. As you would state, we're now taking the city to the next level. I want to thank you.
He was my elementary school principal.
Ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.